Welcome, everyone, to the Bear Watch Project, a podcast where two gay bears discuss everything and anything TV and movies. Hi, my name is Garrett. I love movies.
And my name is Oscar, and I love television. Today, we'll be discussing the fourth episode of Agatha All Along. But first, let's get into what we're watching. What are you watching these days?
So, now that we're in October, we're in the spooky season. I have been doing 31 Days of Halloween, where I watch a movie every single day of the month. So I've done some movies I haven't seen yet, like The Addams Family, some new releases like Salem's Lot on Max or Hold Your Breath on Hulu. And then I did a rewatch of Joker, and I saw the new Joker, which I'm making a video for. It's garbage. Don't spend your money on it. Don't make them make another one. So, yeah, I really don't think you should go see Joker 2. It's not worth your time. Maybe wait till it streams. But what you should go see in the movie theaters now is The Wild Robot, which I finally saw and absolutely loved. It is possibly the best animated movie ever made. It is possibly my number one movie of the year. And it could take over everything that I grew up with my childhood of Disney, Pixar, early DreamWorks. It is better than all of that. And I'll stand by it the rest of my life. But what about you? What have you been watching?
I've been watching 911. So many shows premiered. So 911 with the B NATO. That's been interesting. I mean, they find ways to put their characters in the most ridiculous positions. Like, I mean, she's on a plane. The plane gets hit by the bees and gets hit by another plane, and it's about to crash, and she has to fly the plane. Like, it is ridiculous, but it's such a fun show to watch.
Can I ask a really dumb question?
Go for it.
Does anyone go get these motherfucking bees off this motherfucking plane?
No, because they didn't really make it into the plane. Like, maybe one or two, but like,
Okay.
I guess they thought, well, the plane's already about to crash. Why are we going to add the bees inside the plane and make it even worse for them? I mean, it is TV, but
I mean, maybe she has a bee allergy and she gets stung and you have to urgently land this plane wherever. You have
apparently
42 minutes to work with.
they're killer bees too. It's not just any regular bee. So,
oh my gosh, not killer bees. Where's Alyssa Edwards when you need her?
I also started watching Daryl Dixon, which is good. I really like the setting. It just makes it feel so much different, like so much open space.
Is it actually Daryl Dixon season 2, The Book of Carol, or is it really Carol a show?
No, it is very much Daryl Dixon season 2. The Book of Carol is just kind of like adding her journey to meet up with him. Which, I mean, in true Carol fashion, I mean, she's doing what Carol does best and playing that part, of the nice, unassuming woman. Yeah.
Not killing kids.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Unless she has to, because they murdered their sister.
Maybe. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I've been talking about The Circle for a while, and that finally ended.
Have you been watching Grotesquerie?
I saw the first 10-15 minutes and I had to turn it off, not for grotesque reasons, but
Mm-hmm.
just because I don't know, I needed to wash dishes or something. But I like Niecy Nash, so I can't wait to get back into it. Um,
Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Like it's as
yeah.
good as early seasons of American Horror Story.
Well, speaking of Ryan Murphy Productions, um, oh wait, this is not a Ryan Murphy production. I don't know why in my head I thought this next show was a Ryan Murphy production. Maybe just because it feels salacious, or maybe it is.
Mm-hmm.
American Sports Story, the
That is,
Aaron, the Aaron Hernandez story. Is it a Ryan Murphy production?
yeah, any of those like American Blank Story or all Ryan Murphy umbrellas.
I, I mean, he loves a good salacious story. I mean, he has what, 3 shows on right now? Grotesquerie, the Sports Story, and the Menendez
I
brothers
mean,
story.
he does too much, and
He does a
it's
lot,
mostly bad.
and it's
Did you
not
watch The
always great.
Politician?
I saw the first season, which was
Mm-hmm.
okay. I had no interest in watching the second season.
I think season two is better because
Is
season
it?
two, yeah, there's some great like politician people that he's going up against that's kind of save the show. I give or take Ben Platt is something that like that's up to everyone else. I kind of find him as a character okay,
Mm-hmm.
but like the people he's running against are wonderful and entertaining.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. And then Global All Stars. What do you think about that?
hmm I haven't finished the newest episode, but I know everything that happened because of TikTok. I've seen all the drama. Um, I hope you got Killer Bee reference.
I did get the Killer Beat reference.
Okay, thank goodness. I think it's fine. I started watching UK. UK season 6 is way better than Global All Stars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw the
I'm loving it.
first episode of UK 6. I
hmm
don't remember anyone's name. I mean, but it's the first episode, and there's like 25 queens. So
I think I got most of their names. I'm just upset. You haven't seen. Can I spoil something, or do you want to not be spoiled?
both.
It's
I
like
love a
mid
good
spoiler.
spoiler, but I don't want spoilers.
hmm
Maybe
Okay.
we could discuss it after I watch it.
Yes, because it's just sad. Um, have you watched any movies?
Oh my god, what's the last movie? Oh, I started watching Planet of the Apes series, the
hmm
newest stuff. I had to do like a recap of the first 2 Planet of the Apes. Because I never saw the third one, and then I started watching that, and I got about a third of the way in. I do this a lot, as you can tell. I stop watching things, and the ADHD doesn't let me finish watching stuff if my apartment needs to be cleaned or something, you know?
Oh, my ADHD is the opposite. I'll just watch that and not care about anything else.
I'll start thinking about, like, oh, the garbage needs to be taken out. And then while I'm at it, let me clean the bathroom, and I'll just stop
Mm.
watching.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's what
Ooh,
that's what I've been watching.
have do you care about SNL at all?
I am such a casual watcher. Like if something comes up interesting, like I'll go and watch the clip of it. Or like if there's somebody that I really like, maybe I'll watch a few of the skits, but I'm not like an avid fan.
That's fair. I'm becoming an avid fan, I think. Like I really want to go through the older seasons and watch all of those. And I've been watching it live or just like a little bit behind. And I've been
Hmm.
really enjoying episode 1 was okay. The most recent episode, every single sketch and thing was perfect. It was hilarious. And then next week is Ariana Grande, who I cannot wait for. Same with Wicked. And if you saw, there's a lie detector video where her and Cynthia Erivo are doing it together, and that
Mm.
is just wonderful as well. Good entertainment.
All right, let's get into episode 4 of Agatha All Along, titled
If I can't reach you, let my song teach you.
Nice.
Yeah, what did you think about it?
Uh, I wasn't as enthused as you are about the episode.
Really? Ah.
Yeah, I don't know. Something about this, for me, something about this episode felt a little eh, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I like some of the character progression that we got. I definitely love the tension between Agatha and Rio, but we'll get more into
Mm-hmm.
that. But yeah, I thought it was an okay episode for me.
Mm-hmm. I am the opposite. I think this is the best episode, singularly episode on its own, best episode that Marvel Television, the MCU, has done.
Mm-hmm.
The cinematography spoke to me. I understood what they were doing, and we'll get into it later. But I screamed when I noticed like the style that they were going for with
Mm-hmm.
the '70s aesthetic. Um, I loved every single character progression in this episode. Like the vibe is so much different with the introduction of Rio in the Coven that I just don't know what's gonna happen at any point. Like Rio is such a unhinged character in like the most subtle way,
Mm-hmm.
and I just I was gooped, I was gagged, I was scared. I think this is the most scared I've been in the show so far,
Mm-hmm.
and it ended in chef's kiss. It was so good.
Yeah, I have the. It was a good episode, like I said. Um, as far as like the cinematography and stuff, good use of color, which I
Mm-hmm.
loved. Although I will say that when they stepped into the room, the big room,
Mm-hmm.
like what was it supposed to be, a recording studio?
Yeah.
Um, it just made me feel like I immediately felt like I was on a set.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You felt
So
you
it
felt the budget.
I felt the budget. It gave me
Mm-hmm.
very much like this was put here on purpose because it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like
Well, yeah.
from a production standpoint, like
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what budget the road has. Does Magic have a budget?
for me in this episode, it had a budget.
Okay.
Um, Beautiful use of color. Set
Mm-hmm.
design was really good actually for the vibe they were going for that 70s vibe. But there's just something
Mm-hmm.
about it that seemed very boxy to me. Like, okay, now you're on the set. Here's a box for you to play in.
Yeah.
Which I didn't get that vibe in the previous house that they entered into. Maybe because it was just
I think
very
it
light and airy, but
I think it helped with the first episode actually being a house that they had multiple rooms and different locations to go to. This you really just had your main recording room and then your little like recording booth, where like the producers and everyone would be, and that's the only like two different locations that we had. But it was also a much shorter time in the trial, so I feel like if it
mm-hmm.
was bigger, they would have had to add more to it. It was very direct.
It was very direct.
Do you do you want me to get into why I love the cinematography this
Oh,
episode, or should
absolutely.
I wait?
Yeah, let's discuss because
Okay.
maybe it'll definitely change my view on things.
Have you seen the original Carrie movie?
Uh Again, I've seen like the first 20 minutes of it.
Oh my gosh. You have to. Okay. I'm going to give you some homework.
Mhm.
and then you can rewatch this episode and understand like why I was screaming. So the original Carrie, directed by Brian De Palma,
Mm-hmm.
has a very specific aesthetic when it comes to his horror. He likes very long tracking shots. He likes split diopter shots, which is when you have two things at the same time that are in focus, but you have like two different lenses. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really know how it's done, but like they did that multiple times this episode. That made me scream. Um, the Chucky TV show likes to do it as well. They take a lot of visual cues from De Palma, so it just like gave me everything I was wanting from a 70s horror aesthetic, and I was just living.
Okay, I could see that. I'm gonna have to watch
Hmm.
Carrie.
Yes, it's so good. Sissy Spacek and John Travolta.
John Travolta's in it. I did not know that. I know Sissy Spacek,
Yes.
of course, but I had no idea John Travolta was in
This,
it.
I don't want to say it was his first work. So is her Piper Laurie is also the mother in this Carrie iteration.
Mm-hmm.
Um I don't want to say this is John Travolta's first work because I don't know what it is, but it could be.
Hmm.
I don't know when Grease was made. Probably 80s, 90s.
No, it was definitely an '80s movie.
Okay. But yeah, I just this episode was made for me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I love it. Hmm. They said check Garrett off. Garrett likes this kind of aesthetic and horror. We're gonna give it to him. And that's why like the big scary reveal in this episode worked for me so well because I was so entranced. I was loving the vibe. The song, we'll get into it, was fantastic, and then bang, scary insidious demon with wings. Um, I loved it.
I have comments.
Uh-huh.
Let's go through the episode, and I have some comments.
Okay. We'll get into it. So, in episode 4 of Agatha All Along, titled If I Can't Reach You, Let My Song Teach You, the coven mourns the loss of Sharon, well, everyone except for Agatha, who is already gung ho to get back on the road. The coven members, however, do not want to go back as they are missing their Green Witch, and they argue over the responsibility of Sharon's death. The solution? Summon another Green Witch to the road, and who is it? Rio. With the arrival of Rio, the journey back down the road begins. Lilia, Alice, and Jen discuss the trustability of Rio and whether they should dislike her or get her phone number. My question, though, is the entire coven made up of lesbians? Find out at 9, 8 Central, Wednesday nights.
Okay, so Agatha moving along, literally moving along from Sharon's
Mm-hmm.
death immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, it's kind of sad, but it's kind of funny. Very Agatha fashion. To me,
Mm-hmm.
it felt like she's masking something, right? Because obviously she kind of like had that kind of sweet moment spot for Sharon. She kind of you got to see the cracks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But her trying to move on faster is like it felt very much like she was masking her emotions. Like, okay, let's get back on top. Let's be the strong witch. I have powers to get
Mm-hmm.
to. Let's get moving.
Yeah, I think that, and then I think it's slightly deeper because of the line that she says, "I didn't think you had it in you," and then Teen asks who, and then she just winks, which I think that is in. I'm debating if I spoilers because I know something, but I'm gonna say it. I think she's referring to Rio. And then she
Oh,
wants to get away from that as soon as possible, um, because of who Rio is,
hmm,
and
interesting.
that she. I love her coat. Her coat is wonderful when she like spins to go back on the road and like how she like flings it behind her. I love it.
She loves spinning that thing. It looks good though.
She did it in episode 2, I think. Yeah, she did in episode 2.
Because Teen reminds everyone that everyone is to blame for Sharon's death. So
Mhm.
immediately Agatha's like, all right, let's summon a Green Witch. This whole
Mhm.
sequence, although necessary, felt so out of place to me.
Like the
Because,
summoning of a witch?
well, first, she's like, who has a spell book, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, really, Teen just coincidentally happened to have this exact spell that they needed. It's like, here's this kid who, I mean, sure, he reads a lot, but is he really going to have this powerful spell to summon like the Green Witch that they need in this month? It just felt so kind of out of place to me, like very convenient, very for the story.
Mhm. I could see
Um,
that.
and the
You
fact
have to
that,
get Rio there though.
well, true, I understand why they're doing it, but then Agatha summoning just any random witch when she knows that Rio is kind of around and not
Mhm.
expecting Rio to show up, it just felt so. It just felt, again, it just felt out of place. Like,
I don't think Agatha was ever anticipating Rio to be the one who arrives.
mhm. Yeah, I don't
I'll
think she
vaguely
was
say.
expecting her, but I think I'm like, really, you
Uh-huh.
don't think it's gonna be Rio? Like, she's the Green Witch that you know, that's around
Mhm.
you, like that whole magical energy thing. It's like, really, you don't think she's the one who's gonna be
Mhm.
summoned? It just felt so, I don't know, easy.
I get it. Yeah. I did like the comedy in the beginning with them Lilia pointing out that they could summon but they have to be very specific, and then she repeats herself and Agatha's like, "Great. Well said." I like that joke. And then what each of the members of the coven say to summon the witch, Lilia being very specific, Agatha wanting someone who's not annoying and not very political, Jen just wants someone who is good looking, and Alice just wants some medicine. She just wants to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just their priorities perfect for each
I
character.
get it. Summon someone with painkillers. Like,
Mhm.
I get you,
They've been
Alice.
going through it. Alice is wonderful. Alice is the MVP of this episode. And then,
I do like the effect of Rio coming out of Sharon's, or seemingly Sharon's, grave site. It looked
mhm,
creepy. It was
mhm,
scary. Um, yeah, and I love what she was wearing.
mhm. Like her little like the wooden elf thing on her shoulder. I don't know why. I'm thinking Lord of the Rings, like
I
how
was
she looks.
I was thinking like a tree bark sweater, like made out of like,
Mhm,
very green witch.
mhm. Give me it, Disney. Put it in your stores now. There's so many looks I
Mm-hmm.
want. They could make a pop figure series for like every single episode with how many different looks they have. I would love their 70 looks pop figures.
Who had the best 70s look?
Agatha was hot. I'm not gonna lie. Catherine
Mm-hmm.
Hahn was giving. Teens reminded me of the Beatles in a way I didn't like, but I understood like that's the most 70s man look
Mm-hmm.
that you're gonna get. I liked Alice's glasses. I liked her hair. Um, I don't remember really anyone else's. Jen was fine. I liked Rio's a little bit. And then Lilia's just looked like an older woman in the 70s. But with Rio showing up, the vibe between the coven is so different. Like I just felt the energy that Aubrey Plaza is giving and how each of the witches are like interacting with Rio while she's around them. The green I am the green witch and that little like vocal effort, probably digital, that they did. I really like
No,
the
yeah,
Coven.
I agree. It was a good introduction. Not
Mhm.
introduction, I guess introduction to the Coven.
Yeah, it was a good first act. Do you think all of them are queer? Because I feel like every single one of our characters are queer as fuck.
I mean, not to typecast or anything, but um I mean they're witches, right? You
Hmm.
know.
I think they're all into Rio, except for Teen. Teen doesn't care.
Or is it just kind of one of those things of like she's just so hot that it doesn't matter?
Maybe, but they're still checking her out.
Right.
Like they may not explicitly be, but they're open to the idea. They want her, which I mean I get it. Aubrey Plaza was giving. Oh, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you think Sharon was ever there?
Oh, you think that was like maybe she wasn't? Like I said last time, I'm hoping that they find a way to keep her alive. Like maybe it was
Hmm.
something. I just don't see how it could just not be Sharon. But
Is there transformation magic or magic where you can like manipulate what people are seeing, but in like a very specific way?
I mean, who
You're the
knows?
Wiccan.
I mean, it could be like any kind of residual magic from the Scarlet Witch. You know, maybe because
If Rio was there, she got
spells have already
hexed.
been, yeah, maybe because Sharon has been hexed before, maybe there's some sort of residual chaos magic that, you know, if she's in this road, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think there's definitely ways to explain her coming back or not being there at
Hmm.
all or anything. I mean, anything is possible with magic.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to. I feel like Rio may have been there the whole time, and that she was just secretly
Oh,
there, so that once Agatha got her magic, it was just boom. But now it's like easier for her as Rio. Maybe she got tired of being Sharon and not being able to use like any of her abilities or anything. But
mm-hmm.
I mean that's a stretch. That's a big stretch of a theory. The coven finally reaches the next house, and upon seeing it, Alice immediately turns back, saying she does not want to go there. However, the road puts the house back in front of them, so they must go inside. They're instantly changed into 70s rock band attire, and all of the coven marvels at their appearances. Teen instigates an investigation into starting the next trial. As they search, Lilia cries to artwork of fallen witches. Jen is stared at through masks on the wall, and Alice sees pictures and news clippings of her deceased mother. So we kind of already got into it, but like I feel like the setting worked for this episode. Like for being very specific, like Alice knew where they were going,
Mm-hmm.
and then like this was the Alice episode, and I felt like this was very direct to what her and her mother's past were.
That was very. That's true. And it was very apparent when they first approached the door, and they had the moon and the color scheme, and they immediately all looked at Alice.
Hmm.
I don't know why I wanted to call her Lorna, but Lorna Wu is from.
That's her mother, right?
What is that? Her mother?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
I don't know why. Like in
Lorna's
my head.
ballad.
Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. I'm like, why do I have the name Lorna? I'm like, I thought it was a different witch that I was thinking about from the Runaways, but no, 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 no,
Hmm.
I'm wrong. Um,
Good show, by the way.
oh, great show. Also, Dark Hold Holder.
When? Season one?
I don't remember
I
what
haven't seen
season,
season
but
three, to be honest.
she had held a Dark Hold as well. There was mention of it,
Interesting.
and
That's fair.
in the comic books, I think both her and Nico Minori have
Hmm.
held the dark hold.
This is a tangent, but I had no idea that the main like boy character in the Penguin is Nico from the Runaways.
From the new Penguin movie or
The
show.
show. Uh-huh.
I haven't seen it.
I had no idea that actor was who that was. Nico's the main character, right, with the glasses? Who
Nico,
doesn't have who doesn't have
no.
magic?
No.
Oh.
Nico, she's a witch. She has magic.
Oh, the one with the staff. Okay, it's been a
Yes.
while since I've seen
Yeah.
that. I flubbed. I flubbed.
But yeah, I mean, they enter the fire phase um
Yeah,
of the
I wanted to
mansion.
ask about that. What does is it a waxing moon?
Yeah, I don't know what any of that means, honestly.
Okay. I thought you were a Wiccan. I'm coming to you for your witch
No.
knowledge.
It's very, very superficial knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Just whatever's on TV. That's what
Just
you
whatever
got.
happens on TV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I did like the door. I don't know. Anything glass mirrors, like orange and reds, I'm gonna like. What did you think about like what each of the coven members were seeing? What Lilia saw, Jen, Alice, and so on.
Wait, they saw something this episode?
Yeah, well, not like physical manifestations, just like the decor and aesthetic of the house. Like Lilia was seeing artwork of a witch being burned, another one being hung, I think, and she cried to that. So maybe she like knew those witches, or was just relating to the death of her kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that one shot of while Jen is looking at the mask where like the camera like tilts and you kind of get something of a Dutch angle. I'm not gonna call it a Dutch angle,
Mm-hmm.
but that was really creepy. And then Alice seeing all of like the news clippings and artwork of her mother. Um, I thought it was really nice just to see like how they interact with the surroundings.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the room is definitely messing with their minds again.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I didn't make much of them. I think it was just like very reflective of their mental state, what fears they have. I want to talk about Lilia. What do you think is going on with
Hmm.
her? Because she keeps getting stranger, right? She keeps having these little outbursts. She has one with Alice, and Alice is like, "What are you talking about?" And she immediately is lucid, and she's like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" Like,
Hmm.
she's not very aware that they're happening.
Yeah, she asked him. She asked like to basically out to the world if she's like obnoxious or kooky, and then Alice is like a little bit of both, and then Lilia screams, "Alice, don't," and then she becomes more lucid. I think her foresight is kind of taking over because later in the episode we see something that she said previously. We get the first half of that
Mm-hmm.
in this episode. So I wonder if like she's so in tune to knowing like people's futures or maybe like connection to the past that something is affecting where her mind is presently. Is it going to be related to the timeline, multiverse stuff? I don't think so. Is her trial going to be requiring them to all remember things that she said? I feel like.
I got that as soon as she said Alice don't. I got the sense that everything she has been saying kind of out of
Mm-hmm.
character in the various moments that we've gotten,
Mm-hmm.
that we're all going to see her say that like in real time at the end
Mm-hmm.
when they're going through, like, because we know there's going to be like the big trial, the trial,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like a foreshadowing in a way.
Yeah. Is there supposed to be a trial for each member of the coven? Like, how many trials are we supposed to have?
I mean, we've already had what Jen's trial. We've had we haven't had one for Lilia, and we haven't had
Mm,
one for so
Agatha.
or
And is there going to
yeah.
be
So
one
we've
for
only had one
Rio?
for Jen and for Alice, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It
We
is
don't.
10 episodes, so
It's nine.
oh yes, 9.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. We have 5 more to go. And I think the trial, I don't think we're going to get a trial in episode 8 and 9. I think we're going to move on. Because I don't think
I
they
hope
would
so.
pair those. I don't think they would pair those episodes together to premiere the day before Halloween. Um, I don't know.
I mean, also, your audience is going to get tired of just having this be like a procedural almost with just trials and then another trial and then another trial.
I
It's going to get
agree.
tiresome.
Which is why I kind of loved the very act structure of this episode of before the trial is your second act, kind of has its own
Yeah.
climax, its own little 3 act structure, and then you spend a lot of time after the trial, which is kind of really what
Yes.
set this episode for me
Mm-hmm.
as being amazing. Just because of like, I enjoy when characters sit around and get to know each other and enjoy the company of each other, and I think the writing of the show has been so strong that, especially going back to Lilia, that the writers know what they're doing with Lilia and have been setting this up from the moment we met her in her house.
Yeah, I agree. I like that the trial went fast.
Because you didn't
Mm-hmm.
like it.
It's not that I didn't hate it. I just felt a little out of place.
It could also been the lighting. I think like the 70s lighting was not helping the production quality, maybe.
Maybe.
Agatha and Rio have a side conversation about a truce proposed by Agatha, who says the road can be like Switzerland. Then she sneakily lets her coven overhear what Rio plans to do once their quest is completed. Teen plays a record that curses the coven, causing burns to arrive on Lilia and Jen, who are saved as Alice makes a protection circles around them. Teen is thrown into some glass. Alice realizes the mark on her shoulder is the same curse now on her coven, a generational one that her mother was protecting her from her whole life. To beat the curse and subsequently the trial, the coven must play Lorna's ballad, during which Alice sees and destroys the physical manifestation of the curse. The trial is over, Teen faints from his wounds, and the coven escapes.
Yeah, a lot happened.
A lot of amazing stuff happened.
What do you think of Agatha turning on the loudspeaker so that everyone could hear what Rio has planned for them?
I think it's nice that Agatha is trying to build trust with her coven. I don't know if she's doing it to specifically antagonize Rio, because Agatha was being all sarcastic and going like, "Oh, I'm not that witch anymore." So she's just trying to toy with Rio, and also like maybe let her coven know what's going on. I don't know the intention super
I
behind it.
I thought it was like a little more like here's a new enemy. Focus on her and not on me.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
she has much
Hmm.
more sinister plans for you than I do. Like uh, at first when she turned on the loudspeaker, I was like, wait, but this doesn't make you look good, Agatha, because Rio's saying what
Hmm.
you want. But then Rio's is so much worse that it's kind of like, wait,
Hmm.
they already know who Agatha is. They already know that she will go for a power grab if she needs to. Like the witch,
Hmm.
right? But they don't know
Yeah.
anything about Rio. So it was kind of a
Yeah.
warning.
I agree. Rio saying that she wanted to collect their bodies is very spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly spooky. What did you think about Lorna's ballad?
I was not a big fan of it.
What?
I'm sorry. It keeps going with the theme of me not like it was okay. I don't okay, maybe because I really like the first version. The
Uh huh.
the what is it, the Sacred Chant version.
Yeah.
I really like that version. This one it was a good rock ballad.
Mm-hmm.
I like the intention behind it. What I really liked was that explanation of Lorna used to sing this, um, and her fans were her coven, and essentially she wrote a protection spell for Alice, so that
Mm-hmm.
basically anytime anyone listens to it or plays it, it's basically recasting the protection spell, which has kept Alice safe for all these years. I really
Mm-hmm.
like that aspect.
I agree on like the emotional context of the song is really good. Um, First of all, who plays Alice Wu? I really love Lorna's ballad. I think I love it more than the first chant we got because this felt much more emotional. The first chant, they were kind of just saying the words, going through it, trying to get the spell done. And now their intent, as Agatha calls out for like what Lorna's intent was for the ballad, the intention was so much more different and emotionally complex. And Alice's like transformation essentially throughout the song was so wonderful. I don't know. I was just hooked. Visually, aesthetically, I was thrilled. I loved this version of the song.
Alice is played by Ali On.
Emmy Award. Like, I loved her performance. She does a lot of like she likes to hold her hand up though, which I don't know like what that character choice is. Like I don't know if she's just able to feel like the vibes of the room, but she does that a lot and I would really like to ask the actress why that choice was made and continually made throughout this episode.
I like that Alice is like, like she's so over everything. Like she doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want to be here. She didn't want to be here in the first place, but she has that drive to connect with her
Mm-hmm.
mom, her past, her just to figure out everything that's happened and why it's happened.
And I really like Alice now, and I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to be more upset over Alice's death than Sharon's, to be honest. Because, like, I feel for Alice, I feel her not understanding why her life was going the way it was, how she couldn't hold a job, how everything in her life just kind of fell apart. And I like really emotionally connected with Alice in that moment. So I was terrified for Alice. I was for sure thinking she was going to die this episode. And maybe that's why like my personal connection was making this episode like feel more heightened and thrilling to me personally. What did you think about Jen and her need to stay in the circles?
I love that. I just love that she's like, I'm not leaving. I'm good.
Hmm.
Y'all deal with your shit. I'm gonna stay safe over here. Like it was just so
Hmm.
funny, and it felt very true to who Jen has been since we saw her. Like she don't give a fuck. Like
Very self-serving in a preppy way, not as self-serving as Agatha, who's like very different. But
yeah,
hmm I liked it. It was very funny, especially when they're getting ready to play the song, and Agatha
yes.
is telling for her to go play the bass, and she's like, "I'm in the circle now." It was very good. I liked it. So the demon. Tell me what you don't like about the demon.
Um, what I don't like about the demon, I don't know. I just felt like it was just a tool. I sound like such a hater for this episode.
No, it's okay. I like it. There's a new dynamic because we've usually been like
Yeah.
the same, and now that we're getting some conflict, there's some
Uh-huh.
drama.
Mm-hmm. I
Hmm.
don't hate the demon. It just felt, you know what it felt like Insidious demon who you find behind a door, and oh my god, it's been this whole demon the whole time. It just felt very
Hmm.
like, oh, here's a random demon that's been causing mishap. Aw shucks, let's get him. You know, uh I like the curse more than the demon
Uh-huh.
itself. I understand that they're connected, but I think if you had explained it as just it's this kind of generational curse, which they did, but they attached a demon to it, I think it would have made a little more sense to me. But I get it. You have to have kind of like a visual representation.
What I really love is the fact that Agatha All Along has such a lower production budget that they are forced to do things practically than digitally. So, for a practical demon with wings sitting on a pier getting engrossed in flame, I loved it. That zoom into it was so shocking to me, and it was like the scare that was the best scare of the season so far. Not Rio showing up, which was okay, but the demon and that zoom in and its teeth, and it was very scary. It was what I needed, and I just loved Alice's like determination to kill it. Is there a specific magic? Because you saw her like fingertips light up while they were playing the piano
Mm-hmm.
once she sat back down. So I was wondering like what that was.
I think it's just like we saw that little kind of twinge of magic when they were singing the ballad when Agatha was trying to antagonize them. So I think it's just, a representation of their color, their power set.
Okay.
I think it's just meant to represent that, you know, they're in their element, they're using their power to do these things. It's not just a person playing a piano. It's a
Mhm.
witch using her powers to
Mhm.
influence this moment.
I like it. We still don't know what witch Alice is. Protection's witch? I guess she is. She did. She did protect. What did you think about Lilia during the song?
Um, I mean, it's Patty LuPone, so I was expecting, sacred chant version level of vibes, but I didn't get that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, the
Did you
thimbles
enjoy
or
the
the
Yeah. Did
yeah
you enjoy the comedy of her having like multiple different instruments she was playing?
yeah that was funny. I mean, the scene was good.
Mm-hmm.
I know I say that very like it was good, but
Your just eyes are looking up at the roof. I'm just telling everyone in the audience so they know.
yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Big eye roll. I don't know. This episode, I could rewatch this. Like, this is remember that Moon Knight episode where um the mummy is like chasing them through the tombs and stuff?
Yes.
It was like that level of like a perfect episode where everything I wanted the show to give, it is giving me, and I'm not noticing all like the surroundings and everything just fit everything that I was looking for. And that's just more personal bias. Like I don't you're not wrong, even though you are, for disliking the bits of this episode, but to each their own.
To each their own. I think the best part of this whole sequence was them finding the door and getting out of that room.
It's so mean. I okay.
I
The
like that it
one
was
critique
in. I
I
I do like that it was in the piano though. That made it like a fun kind of like okay, again, magical portal kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be attached to a floor or, you know,
Hmm.
I just really liked that it was on the piano, which is like above ground.
I liked it. I do have one complaint. I think this is the only complaint I have for this episode. I did not like how it was revealed Teen had a glass shard in him. Because it happens, he gets thrown through the glass way sooner, way earlier. And I would have felt like he would have noticed that and he would have felt it before. And someone would have seen like the blood flowing through him because he's wearing like brightly colored stuff. So the dark red would have popped through sooner.
He had a little jacket though.
But is that gonna cover like is a 70s jacket long enough to cover his like mid
I mean,
like bottom
ag-
of his tummy?
again, it's a show about magic. Anything is possible. I
I'm
didn't
just
I
saying.
didn't like I didn't hate that though. I actually kind of like that. I mean, it makes the stakes a little higher. Like he knows he has to play. He knows he has to join in order for them to get out. So he's gonna
Mhm.
completely ignore this thing. But then in the middle of that, he realizes because it probably starts hurting, and he's just gonna keep going through it. It shows, his resilience, not only to
Mhm.
himself but to help out his coven.
Mhm. I think I agree with you. I think that could have happened sooner, and then he internally has a ticking time clock to where he's trying to like drive the coven to do things quicker and sooner, like to figure out the problem. Um, I guess it wasn't as sooner before. I don't know. I didn't like how late the reveal the glass shard was.
I don't mind it
I guess it's
because it makes it more dire when everybody finally finds out. Like, oh, he's had the shard. I'm trying to say it so it doesn't sound nasty. He's had it in him. So he's had this glass shard for a bit now, and when they find out, you know, now he's in dire straits. Now he needs his coven to help him.
give me a wince sooner because he seemed totally fine after being thrown through that glass. Like rewatching it today, I was just like, "You seem totally fine. Why don't you feel that you have a piece of glass in you?"
It was the
Kind of gave me
shocks.
a
Sometimes the shock just kind of, you know.
back on the road. Agatha pleads with her coven to save Teen. Jen is able to with some water, moonlight, and a spell. While Teen rests and eventually awakens, the coven bonds, sharing bits about their past and their battle scars. Agatha and Teen bond and talk about sigils, and Rio shares how she is scarred by the woman she hurt in her past. Agatha and Rio then share a very intimate moment, ruined by Rio, who says that the boy, Teen, is not Agatha's son, and the episode ends.
Ruined by Rio or ruined by Disney?
Exactly. That was hot. The tension was palpable.
Yeah, I don't know why it just gave me, Disney cutting into it vibes saying, no, we can't
See,
show that.
yeah, but it wouldn't have even happened at all if Disney didn't like it. Like, one, the licking of the hand would not have happened at all, and then the energy between them. Like, we're getting close to a kiss. I don't think they need to. Like, I think when Agatha and Rio finally do hook up, it's gonna be like Agatha's low point as a character. But I
Yeah,
do want it to happen. It'll be so hot.
I agree. Okay, so I really liked that Agatha was desperate, like desperate to save Teen.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was crying, like tears were coming down her face.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, somebody do something. She was like incredibly desperate. Those are
Mm-hmm.
those moments that I really like from Agatha, where I keep calling them, the cracks, the flaws.
Mm-hmm.
I like those moments because it humanizes her in a way that we don't always get from her.
It
Yeah.
deeply showed her humanity. I loved the moment where Lilia is saying like he's young, he can heal, and then Agatha says no, and then she looks at Rio, stares at her, and says don't. Or I guess she says don't to Lilia as well, and then she looks at Rio, and then she stares for a long time and says don't. And I I get what that means.
To
I
me,
like what
that
that
was all
means.
about her kid, right?
No,
No.
no,
Tell me, what did it mean?
no, because that's spoilers.
Oh. See, okay, good. Because in my head, it's all about how maybe, hey, kids bounce back, he'll be fine. But Agatha knows that this is a deep wound, right? She's like, we don't have time. To me, it was just, you know, connecting her back to, because we have, just like Rio says at the end, that this is not your son. We
Mm-hmm.
already have gotten little bits and pieces that Agatha is protecting Teen because she kind of sees him as a pseudo son. Maybe reminds her of her own son. So
Mm-hmm.
she's doing what she can to kind of preserve this young teenager.
You're right. I think there is like a surrogate son connection. Maybe she possibly believes that that is Nicholas Scratch, her son. Because we also don't know Agatha's last name. Maybe we'll get told that. Maybe we won't. Um, no, we do. It's Harkness. So where the hell is Scratch coming from?
His
Is that
daddy,
her man's? I need to see this daddy. Who? No, because I don't want to
Mephisto.
see.
Watch it be Mephisto. Mephisto's the daddy.
No, no, because if that's actually Sacha Baron Cohen, I do not want to see Catherine Hahn
They can
and Sacha Baron
recast.
Cohen.
I mean, it doesn't have to be Sacha Baron Cohen. Things have changed.
Things definitely can change, but no, thank you. Um, I think the don't to Lilia was like, don't bring that negative thought energy into this. Like, we are going to save him. There has to be something that can save him. I liked how that tension was feeling. I don't think it hit the second time I watched it because I knew he survived and everything. Um, but the initial viewing of that was fantastic. And then again, I just love seeing characters sit around. The writers are giving them time to bond. And it was just a really good conversation. We learned a little bit more about Jen, how she was a midwife and was told to come to this new like Boston Institute place and how it was a trap. And this doctor person somehow bound her without having magic, which is interesting. And then I liked her line of him not doing no harm. I thought that was like very like a
Hmm.
good dagger of a point to make.
It gives me like Van Helsing vibes, where there's witch hunters. I mean, obviously
Mm-hmm.
we get that sense from just mentioning the Salem Seven and all that, but um, yeah, it gives me witch hunter vibes.
Mm-hmm. I just had a thought. Do you think any of this show is going to line up with Werewolf by Night?
I haven't seen Werewolf by Night. I need
Oh
to
my
watch it.
gosh.
More
I
homework.
recommend watching it. I recommend watching it in its original black and white.
Yeah, I would definitely watch it in the original.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah, I
very
just haven't
good.
sat
Michael
down to watch
Giacchino
it.
did a good job. I want more. I want a. I forget what team it's called, but the one with Blade, and you could have all of like the dark, mythical magic beings. I want
Hmm.
them. I want that team.
There was talks, I believe, into making that show.
Yeah, but we gotta make a Blade movie first, apparently. Which, if it ever gets made, I don't think it'll get made.
I don't know. It's probably gonna go the way of the Gambit movie.
Yeah, I just feel like it's in such development hell right now.
It is.
Why do you think Agatha is so mad when Teen brings up her son?
I think it's because one, she doesn't necessarily like the choice that she made, whatever that choice was, to
Mm-hmm.
cause her son to no longer be around. I don't we don't know what that is yet, but I think she doesn't like that choice that she made, or she feels some sort of guilt to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's like, who she I don't know, it kind of reminds her in that moment of like, who is this, even though she sees him as a surrogate son, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
who are you to ask me this question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And third, because she's sitting by his bedside basically till he wakes up, finally sees that he's okay. All those walls that we had seen before are breaking down, right? We're seeing a softer side. And as soon as he brings that up, she immediately puts that wall back up. And I think a little bit of that anger is kind of that, kind of that resentment of like, why did I let my guard down for somebody to now pry
Mm-hmm.
into my personal life?
But then she goes and sits next to Rio. I'm making connections here because what Rio says for what her scar is and how she hurt someone even though she was just doing her job, but that kind of ruined what they had together. If she's so mad about like her son being brought up, I don't know why she goes and sits next to Rio.
I mean, it could very well be like, that situation where like, yeah, I know things are great, but I still kind of low key.
Well, maybe, but what did you think about what Rio said? Like, what her scar is?
I see, again, that's one of those things in this episode that doesn't really make too much sense to me, because Rio's supposed to be this kind of badass, and she's after Agatha, and she wants to kill her for some reason, and then all of a sudden she's
Mm-hmm.
going to show some sort of vulnerability. Like, I felt like it was way too early, especially just having met the Coven, to show that type of vulnerability.
I disagree. I think she was seeing all of them connected. She was jealous that Agatha was connecting with them. I think she wanted to point out to Agatha that she feels remorse over something that happened in their past. Like that was kind of your beginning of the explanation of what happened between Agatha and Rio. Because that was very directed at Agatha, I think, especially with how Agatha reacts and just like walks up and walks away. Um, like looking at Aubrey Plaza's face after Agatha shows the scar in her elbow, I just feel like Rio was feeling left out, and that maybe she's never had a coven before. Maybe she's just been alone all this time, and now there's this collection of women that she sees that she could be like friends with. Maybe
I don't know. I don't see her as a type that's trying to out here make friends. Like, a
no,
Coven,
definitely
yes.
not.
Friends, no. I don't know if these
Maybe.
are the women that she would choose to coven up with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I personally don't see that. It To me, it felt a little out of place, out of
Okay.
character. But then again, we don't really know her character very well
Mm-hmm.
yet.
You don't know her character very well. I hate it. I hate getting spoiled. And I'm gonna refrain from it. But for those that are listening, and know what I'm talking about, I feel like it's fun to hint
Mm-hmm.
towards those things as
I
well.
do like the
I know.
hints.
And in the end, I just had a really good time with this episode. I think
Mm-hmm.
this moved the series in a great place. Kind of a little bit of a reset with the introduction, or rather reintroduction to Rio, but she's introduced to the Coven, and a whole new group dynamic is formed. And I still just love, love, love this episode. Tens, tens, tens across the board.
I give it a solid 7. I didn't absolutely hate it. I just saw a few little bits and pieces that just did not work with me. But
That's fair.
all in all, it's been a great show so far. I love a good magical show and I love a good witch show, so it's been a fun
It's
watch so
just
far.
nice. I agree. It's just nice having a weekly Marvel show again. I wish they would put these out more frequently, or just give me a low budget Agents of Shield type
Mm-hmm.
22 episode long series. Like, I'm gonna love Daredevil, even though did they split it 9 episodes and 9 episodes
I
instead of
believe
doing the
it's
full
split,
18?
yes. Which
Boo.
being 18 episodes seems, I don't know. I like a shortened season. It makes it much more impactful.
It depends on the pacing, because if you have like a Jessica Jones season 2 that is 13 episodes long,
Mm-hmm.
um, it hurts and it's hard to get through, or like an Iron Fist season 1 that's 13 episodes
Oh my
long.
god, that was way too. That could have been done in 2 episodes.
Maybe. I could see 8.
Oh my god,
Like,
arguing about Iron Fist. No,
I liked Iron. Like
it was okay.
it's a
There's a lot
I
of
don't know.
issues
I
there.
was a teenager. I have really fond memories of my dad used to like referee,
Mm-hmm.
and um there was like a water tower where like the office for all the referees were at. And I used to referee, but I finished my work for the day. So I was up at the top of the watchtower when Luke Cage came on Netflix and like Netflix crashed. But I'm just like sitting up at the water tower watching Luke Cage on my phone, very nostalgic times. I miss the Marvel Netflix shows and I miss Agents of Shield.
I loved Luke Cage.
It was a
That
good first season.
that show is really really good.
Hmm.
Yeah, I liked Jessica Jones just because I followed her character in the comic book, so I really like what they did with the TV show. Luke
Hmm.
Cage was cast perfectly. Um,
Yes, love.
I mean, I mean, yeah, Iron Fist was it was okay, and Daredevil, of course, has the best choreography of fight scenes.
I would say Iron Fist is second to that. I
Oh
liked the
yeah,
fight scenes in Iron Fist a lot.
yeah, that's true.
That was its saving grace for sure. I
Hmm.
don't. And then I loved Jessica. Uh, I forget her name. I want to say Wick for some reason, but like the lead actress in Iron Fist, I love her as well.
Hmm.
She's very good.
She's good.
She was in Glass Onion.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
I
like
haven't seen that
oh
either.
my gosh. I'm upset that it was straight to streaming. I want a Blu-ray for it so bad. Maybe Criterion can make that happen.
Maybe.
Maybe. But what do you have to watch this upcoming week?
Oh my god, everything started up again,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much to watch. There's so much to catch up on. I
Mm-hmm.
am a sucker for the Chicago shows. The Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. I mean, they're great shows to watch while I'm cleaning the house and doing laundry or whatnot. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited that Found is back. Found on Peacock. It's a show
Mm-hmm.
about stars Shanola Hampton, who played Viv in Shameless, and she plays this. I don't know what her official position is, but she has this agency where they find missing people, and specifically misrepresented missing people. But she has a past where she herself was kidnapped as a kid and got free, and supposedly her kidnapper is missing. Like, he hasn't been found.
Mm-hmm.
Little does everyone know, she has him locked in her basement and she forces him to help with the missing persons cases. Great
Mm-hmm.
dynamic, great actors. I mean, season 2 is finally back. It had a great first season. So I'm really excited to
Mm-hmm.
watch that.
Was its first season over the summer? Like, I feel like I was seeing trailers for the first season recently.
It was last fall.
Okay, so I guess I've just been seeing season 2 trailers
I
this
think
whole
so.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. Cuz
Mm-hmm.
they've been promoting that. Other than that, just continuing watching the shows that I've already started watching. Daryl Dixon,
Mm-hmm.
911, Superman and Lois is back.
Yeah, the premiere is tonight, the night that we're recording.
Yeah.
2 hours. Good for that show. I was seeing that like the writers and makers of that show were like, even though it's a shorter run than they wanted, they're still like they still got the ending that they wanted to get to.
I love when they give shows a good ending. Like, give the producers time to make an official ending of your show,
Hmm.
and not have it be this kind of mess at the end that they have to put together.
I agree. Chucky season 4, please. I hope Shudder, because I recently got Shudder, and I saw that Chucky is on there, and I wonder if Shudder sees that Chucky is getting them so much like numbers and stuff, especially since they don't have too many shows on there.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that Shudder can save Chucky and give us a season 4. I want that so bad.
I have not seen season 3. Actually, I don't think I
Mm-hmm.
finished watching season 2. Am I part of the problem? Sorry.
No,
Um,
you're fine. Season 3 was a little bit of a dip in
okay.
writing quality.
I'm curious to see how it ends. Chucky's never dead. You know, it'll come back in some sort of
Yeah.
iteration, whether it's a wrap up show or another movie or something. We'll see him
Yeah, I
again.
just want. You need to finish season 3, and then you'll understand my, like, fury as to why I have to wait longer to see more.
Maybe we could do a Chucky episode.
Where we just talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be, like, fun rewatch, too. Um, for me, and what I'm interested in watching this week, hockey is back. My Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup this previous season, and tomorrow, October 8th, of the day that we were recording, is their first game, first home game, so they get to put their banner up for their cup win. I'm very excited. I just like sports that are like thrilling like hockey, so I'm totally into it. Um,
Yay, sports.
TV show wise, yay sports, love them. Chicago also plays
Love
tomorrow night.
sports. Love sports.
Love Pink. Chicago also plays tomorrow night, but they're in Utah for Utah's first hockey game, official as a team. Um, Disgusting. And then I really want to go see Saturday Night. I don't know if it's coming to a theater locally for me, but it's getting its like big distribution October 11th. Um, and then shows. I still don't know when Abbott. I still don't know when Abbott Elementary starts. I just want more Abbott. Um, More English teacher, please. I need to get back into like the other shows I've been watching because I've just been doing movies. I'm gonna watch Friday the 13th Part 3 3D tonight and review that for the beginning of the hockey season. Because if you don't know, that's the first movie where Jason gets his hockey mask. So why not watch it for tonight? And yeah, I'm just gonna continue doing 31 Days to Halloween.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
it is the Halloween season, and it is the time to watch all the spooky stuff.
I need recommendations. People give me recommendations of stuff to watch. I want very scary, but not like gory scary. Some jump scares would be fun. Also, this is a little call to action. I think my Halloween special this year is going to be me ranking and reviewing Halloween themed television show episodes. So I just need to know what I should be watching, what I should include. So you can get back to me. My YouTube channel is Grizzly Reviews, as is my TikTok. My Instagram is Garrett_Odin23. So hit me up with a DM of what shows you think I should be watching for that. I kind of gotta start working on that now. So, because it might be a beast of a video to make. I've never made like a ranking video with like that stacked like S through
Mm-hmm.
F ranking tier list thing. That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. Um, but yeah. But where can they all find you, Oscar?
You can find me at Ion Source on Instagram and Ion Source on Twitch.
Love it. And then we are just the Bear Watch Project on some social medias.
We are the Bear Watch Project on different social medias, at the Bear Watch Project on TikTok and YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and at the Bear Watch Project X on Instagram. Feel free to leave us any comments, suggestions. What should Garrett be adding to the list? What
Mm-hmm.
movies do I need to watch to completion instead of the
Carrie.
first 20 minutes?
Carrie.
I'll
I'm gonna hold you to that. Please watch Carrie for next episode.
I'll see where I can find it on streaming.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say Hulu maybe, or Amazon Prime. I'm just
Yeah,
saying who like produced
I'm sure
it.
it's on there somewhere. I have some
Yeah.
credits.
But thank you everyone to tuning into this episode. Come back next week where we will discuss the 5th episode of Agatha All Along, and I'm going to quiz Oscar on everything Carrie. But until then, thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.